Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I want to welcome you to a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. Hope you guys all had an amazing trading day yesterday. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you get the alerts and the updates when they happen. And for those of you that are returning to the channel, quick question for you. We're scheduling our next educational webinar, and I'm looking for topics. What would you like to see covered in an educational webinar? I've got a couple of ideas already that have been put in, but put it in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below what you might like to see when we do our hourly webinar. So type it in. Let's go ahead and dive right in. All right. So in the S&P today, taking a look this morning, we are down about 2.5 points. Now, yesterday, we had talked about a potential breakdown below this area, and price was down in this region when we were recording the DMC. And my advice at that point was if you took the short, to take your stop and move it to break even, only because we weren't really moving very strong out of that level. And then lo and behold, we popped right up out of that zone, because, well, the market just can't go down. I think it's actually official that the market will never go down again, and every day is going to be a bullish day from here on to eternity. At least that's what it seems like, right? I mean, it's just we continue to move up. Our momentum is slowing down, but the slowing of the momentum has not turned into any sort of a pullback. And so when I look at what we have going for today, I still am, the markets are, they gave me a permission to be short when I got a lower swing low and a lower swing high in the 4 hour. But then all of a sudden now I have a higher swing low and the same swing high. So now we have price that's given me this spring pinch, right? We've got this spring pinch right here, and we could break out one way or the other from this direction. Odds are that we would, be more likely to break out to the upside. And I see a lot of people that are what I like to call perma bears that are looking at this level here saying, okay, well, we're back to supply, it's going to sell off. I don't necessarily agree with that, because in my mind, trend trumps those bigger picture curves. So we might get a little bit of a reversal from here, but I think ultimately that we've got a better chance of powering through here on the bigger picture and continuing to move higher. If we do break down from here, there's some really nice reversals down below me. And I'd be totally okay with a little bit of a breakdown, because that would actually give me some entries on some individual equity positions. There's a lot of really, really good stock plays out there that are just above decent pullback areas. All right, in the Nasdaq. So in the Nasdaq, we had said that the Nasdaq was a bit stronger of a market than the S&P, and so it never did hit its breakdown point. So that level's still valid. We're getting a bit of a pullback right now. There's a little area here that might be worth taking a gander for a reversal, which would be right through here. And that's actually probably better seen on a 15-minute chart. Well, when I go to a 15-minute, I actually like it a bit lower. When I go to a 15-minute, I like it better right about here. So I'm going to switch that to a purple line and take a look at that one for today to see if we get much movement. West price, retreats back into here. It may not retreat back that deeply, but if it does, I think there's a decent little reversal opportunity in there. As far as trading it down, you can certainly try to trade the short. Here's our new high. Our new all-time high is this 77.48, which we just put in the overnight hours. So, as far as shorting an all-time high, as Dana Carvey once said when doing the George Bush impersonation, ain't going to do it, wouldn't be prudent. I'm not going to be shorting the all-time high. It doesn't make any sense for me. I'm not a huge fan of that. And so I do have a lot of selling pressure in all of these latest candles that are falling, meaning the market does keep trying to push it back up, but it's unable to really get some movement to that upside. So keep an eye on the level down below. Crude oil. So in crude, We had two very nice reversals. Neither one of them, price didn't come into either one of those, and we're continuing to rally higher. We've got some supply up above us, but it's a little bit a ways off. And so when I look at this on a 4-hour time period, I might actually have to go down to a 15-minute to see if there's a better opportunity to engage this trend, and I don't really see it. I'm okay actually if you take a breakout above, just above today's kind of highs, since we seem to be basing a little bit here. In this case, your stop would have to be below this pivot right down below there. In gold, so in gold, unfortunately, gold, we did come into our 15-minute level. We got a nice little 2-to-1 move away from our gold entry. And if you are a tradersarmy.com subscriber, you saw that in our private trade feed that we talked about taking the stop and moving it up, since we got a nice little move away right there. So we took our stop, moved it up to get a little bit of profit off of this thing on a 2-to-1 reward to risk. And then I just didn't feel like it had a lot of strength in it. So it didn't have a lot of strength in it, and so price moved away, down through there. So that level did work out for a nice little move for those of you that were able to grab it. Now I think we've got a better chance of price continuing down. Unfortunately, we missed the best overnight level, which is this area right here. Right, this little level right in here was a great little move, and I do look for levels formed around midnight in gold. Right, levels formed around midnight in gold become pretty useful just due to the Aussie's opening period time of the day. And so now, if you want to take it, I think you'd be looking for some sort of a breakdown below here as a chance to maybe take this next move down. Okay. Let's look at the bonds and the Aussie. So in the bonds, we are still thoroughly, firmly, well placed between our breakout above resistance and our demand area down below. So those areas are still very much in place. So nothing really to add in the bonds. In the Aussie, we got a very nice breakdown. So those of you that took the breakdown in the Aussie, we broke out of the triangle as I talked about yesterday. Price tried to come back to our stop loss, didn't quite make it there, and then came down overnight into our target, which was this opposing fair price value area. We didn't quite trade halfway into it, unfortunately, but now I'm going to remove this stop. This trade is reached full profit, so if you got that one, do me a favor, leave something in the comment section down below. As it came in and didn't do a whole lot of movement until later in the day, and then we got a very nice move in the overnight hours. Next, euro. So the euro, we're coming close to our 15-minute level. I don't love the basing in front of here, and so since we based in front of the level before making some sort of an entry, I've got to move that to a confirmation style, but it is still valid because we didn't touch it. We just based in front of it. So that's the same level that we had from yesterday. And then in the Canadian dollar, nothing really new except for this area here that was created in the overnight. And if you want to use the 15-minute time period, I don't really love the time of day that was formed. And so I'm not going to really take anything on the Canadian dollar. I'm a bigger fan of not forcing things. So don't add a level if the level doesn't look like it's going to be high enough probability. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. So in the pound, we are still between our levels in this one as well. We had our breakdown below on this blue line. So some of you caught the breakdown. So the next trade, let me get rid of the blue line. We don't need this anymore. Our next trade is the reversal level back up into here. So let's see if that level gets met today. I think that one has a chance of getting met entry today. Although all these upper wicks in these last 3 hours tell me that there's a fair amount of selling pressure going on as we're rallying up. So it may have a hard time making it into this zone completely. And then last but certainly not least, our Japanese yen. We had our confirmation entry down here, switched it to a confirmation entry, and we're still going nowhere. Japanese yen has just been absolutely silent, right? It's just been dead silent. We had one big candle in the overnight, Big green up, big red down, basically back to where we started. So not a whole lot occurring in there. So those are our levels in the S&P, Nasdaq, crude oil, and gold. Those are the four that I kind of start with every day. If you guys hopefully were able to catch that Aussie to the downside yesterday, but not a whole lot of prices that were moving inside of these futures markets. So make sure you're keeping your eye on other markets as well and seeing what's out there and what's available. I appreciate you guys joining us today. If you got any questions, please send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. Till tomorrow, everybody. See you soon.